type video to the one I made on teaching your kids to prep, and I will put a link here or here, wherever it is on the screen, to that video. But I want to talk about some of the books I've bought which are related to kids and prepping, and tell you what I like and what I don't like. Well, I'm going to start out with what I feel is for younger children, and it is the book that I dislike the most. It is one of the Prepper Pete books, and this is Prepper Pete Prepares, and the author is Kermit Jones Jr., and the illustrator is Christy Brill. First off, what I like about it is the illustrator is very talented. Her drawings of the ants are very cute. But overall, this book is very, very heavy-handed. I guess it's supposed to be telling a child what a prepper is. Now, if you grow up in a household like this, I think you already know. But, well, let me give you some examples. So here's a page from the book. Notice it has AR rifles on top there, a little poster showing, I guess, nukes, biohazards, whatever, water, and of course, Prepper Pete has his gun and knife ready. So it isn't a story that leads kids through the idea of why prepping is important. It just basically says, preppers prep, and we do this because, and then it lists about every emergency that you can think of, such as floods, power outages, hurricanes, tornadoes, an EMP, even the plague. Anyway, all of those type of things, which, remember I said, especially for young children, don't make them fear different things. And this brings up all the fears of preppers and why preppers prep. And I don't think that's really a great idea for little children to be so explicit. Let me read you a page from it. He learned some people think those in charge might lose control and the police won't be able to protect everyone. Others think help will always be available, but Prepper Pete didn't want to take the chance. So it's really written more from an adult point of view. Here now you're also worrying the kids, oh my God, the police won't protect us. You know, there's a lot of worry that could be installed in children in this book. He even goes on to say, he knew that not everyone was prepared and those who didn't have anything might become desperate and try to take things from others. So I think you get where I'm coming from. It's fear, 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 fear. And that's why we prep. And to me, it's more on the, what some people would call survivalist level. It shows Prepper Pete digging, I imagine, for a bunker. And of course you saw the ARs, and Prepper Pete is up. Try saying that fast. Prepper Pete, of course, is always shown with his gun and his knife, which is fine, but definitely isn't concealed carry. It's right out there. But the idea is it's preaching to children, okay? It's not a fun story. Instead, if they were shown the ants and how they would prepare for some disaster like lack of food or flooding, whatever, at an ant level, I think that would have been more understandable for a child and just better at that age. Like I said, to me this is almost, it's written by an adult and it's really written to an adult. Anyway, just my opinion. He also has some books on Survivalist Sam, another character. So if any of you have bought those and your children really enjoy them, put your comments below. I could be wrong. Next up is my favorite of all the books. It is called The Boy's Book of Adventure. And it just says Barron's. This book was reasonable. It was under $10. I got it on Amazon. Very well bound. Has a little, you know, like that around it. And the actual contents and the pictures are really, really great. I'll read you some of the contents here. Oh, and can you see the binding? It's that type of binding, so really will last a long time. So this goes into bike safety, secret code. codes. Oh, I love that part. When I was kind of preteen, I remember the girl down the street, we would write codes to each other using, we had our own code, and we had a little code wheel we made ourselves, and then we printed the codes in lemon juice, and so you had to hold a flame to see what we were saying. We had so much fun with that. And it has Morse code, how to navigate, the Outdoor Traveler's Toolbox, you know, what to carry in your bag, how to build a shelter, how to read a map, how to read clouds so you know what to expect from the weather, how to catch fish, and how to make your own pole, and how to make different sailor knots, how to identify animal tracks, how to remove salt from seawater. I mean, it has a lot of fun type things. The pictures make it fun too. I went over some of this with my 8-year-old grandson. He loved the book. He couldn't wait to try some of these things. So this is definitely my favorite book. If you have someone young, a grandchild, a nephew, or niece that might be interested, this is a great book. And notice I said niece. Well, the reason is this. There's also the girls' book of adventure. Unfortunately though, I didn't like it nearly as well as the boys' book of adventure. Maybe I'm a bit of a tomboy, but I know when I was young, I would have preferred the boys' book. And I'll go over some of these contents. So it has various cooking ones like cooking with honey, beauty tips, paper jewelry, what could be poisonous, again goes into the hiker's toolbox, herbal and wellness teas, again how to predict the weather, how to weave a pot, and some knots and some other crafting type things. But to me, not nearly as much, I guess, prepping related activities, but it still might be fun for a young girl. Again, beautiful illustrations, but I didn't find it nearly as relevant as the boys' book of adventure. I really recommend this book. Then there's one other book I want to go over today for you, and that is Survivor Kid, and that is by Denise Long, and she is a search and rescue volunteer. And this is written more for middle schoolers, and especially if middle schoolers ever go hiking a lot or go out into the woods, this is to give you some survival skills. It is written in easy to understand language. There are some illustrations in it, but not a lot. I'll go through the contents here in a minute. It says what to happen if you get lost, which is really good. How to build different shelters, finding water, how to signal for help, how to build a fire, avoiding dangerous animals, getting the best of bugs, dealing with extreme weather, how to find food, learning to navigate, and what to do if someone is injured or if you are injured, and packing a survival kit. And then it has a list of resources. So it does go over a lot of good things. There's some things in this book that I want to try with my grandson. Here's a little activity, how to test obtaining water from a solar still. And it gives you 3 different things to try. And part of the object is to see what type of plants or grasses might give you the most water. Great activity for adult or child. And it has a lot of good illustrations on how to build a shelter and how to just try building one in your backyard. It is 222 pages with the index, and I think it's a good book. I think kids could learn from it. It has to be the right kid though that likes to read a book and likes to follow instructions without a lot of pictures and without a lot of activities. I think sometimes still, even at the younger middle school age, it's better to have a book that's by, you know, if you're talking about fire building, then here's an activity, here's an activity, here's an activity, and then gradually they learn the important things about building a fire, and the same with water, shelter building, and those type of activities. But anyway, I still think it's a good book. Like I said, I've learned some things in here that I'm going to try with my grandson. so I do recommend it. So this is it about my book discussion. I would love to know below what books you feel are prepper related teaching activities to children and what you have found useful. And if you've ever purchased this book, I really, really highly recommend it. Don't know the authors or anything. I just bought it and I love it. And my grandson and granddaughter are going to have a lot of fun doing some of the activities in this book. This is Prepper Potpourri saying please subscribe, share the knowledge, and please share it with the youth. Thank you.